Okay, we're going to go with a little bit of a tip and some discussion right now about height disparity. Obviously, I mean, I don't really have to stand up here, but you can see there's a little bit of a height disparity between the two of us. So when I do things to Tony with Tuite or Cusho or anything else, my technique is going to be a little bit different on him and vice versa. The technique I want to really show this with is straight wrist grab, same side. Now there's two different ones that we typically do. One we call the J hook, and you touch and you go just a little bit outside and make a J hook. If I touch and really swing, he starts to be able to resist that. If I touch and just make a light little J hook, I can come up here. We're now violating one of our principles. His arm is straight. I don't want it straight, so I just bend it and I get the reaction I want. One of the things I see a lot of people doing when they're doing the outside loop or the J hook is they come here and they try to do the technique out here and come back in around here and switch to this technique. We were originally flexion up against the chest, and it's quick, simple, and easy. I've got him pinned. If I go up and then his hand's going to come off, and maybe I'll get this if he grabs, but trying to do all this stuff just is not going to work in real time. When you start speeding that technique up, you'll see. The other one is coming back the other way, and the common error I see is people grab here and they bring it straight up to their chest and they're trying to fight it here, or they're trying to fight it out here, and I'm not strong enough to get any reaction out of Tony on this. So the tip on this is I want to angle, but I also want to take his hand and put it in his pocket. Just down here is where I'm putting this, and I'm lifting up, and his shoulder, you see his shoulder starts to go up and jams up towards his neck. So that's what I'm going to do. If I'm bringing this in, I'm going to shuffle in to it as I do it and keep it low. I want it down here below my belt or my belly button. So I'm going to touch, and I'm going to come in and shoot him a little off the screen, and then I can roll around and get that. So why is this one different? Why is it okay to do a little hand switch? Well, he is up on his toes at that point. So if I come in close here and see, notice my angle of attack, my chest force efficiency is heading that direction. That's binding up his wrist, that is cutting off, even if I didn't get a crank on his wrist, I have turned his shoulder away, and now his left hand can hardly reach me, even though it's, yeah. But if I really, if I go up, he won't be able to do that. If I'm here, see, I'm cranking on it, and I'm not getting any reaction. If I'm down low, I can get him up on his toes, which you can't see, but you can tell his head's a little bit higher right now. So as I release him, he goes down off of his toes, and that's when I get that chance to make my hand switch and go into the technique. Now, turnabout's fair play. Tony gets to demonstrate what this technique looks like as well. So you can see he does it a little bit different. See, he's up a little bit higher than me, but that's the height disparity. In order for him to get it below his waist, he really, yeah, he has to squat tremendously. So taller person, shorter person, you're going to do the techniques a little bit different. And I'll come off my toes now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let him go all the way through this technique and do the transition. So you see the difference there. Just slight little variations. You're going to have that push catch when Tony pushes and I do push catch, I am typically right here with his arm parallel to the ground. Now, I always say to my students, this is a good position when you're first learning because you can see the top of the forearm, the angle of attack. I push Tony and he takes me into that same position. See my arm? Tony can see the top of my arm because he's a good almost a foot taller than me, I guess, somewhere in that ballpark. So he can actually, this is a great position for him if he's learning a new technique. He can see right through this opening because of his height. He can see that. So height disparity, people are going to do things a little bit different, and keep that in mind when you're training with your partner.